So, hello everyone. Don't expect me to upload videos this early, but I'm gonna upload like one or two or three maybe even. Then in the afternoon, I'm gonna upload the rest of them. That's the my normal schedule. I usually upload in the afternoon. So this is day four, game one, Supermassive against G2. This is one of the most exciting games to me for me specifically. I think that this is one of the games that you're looking forward to see when coming into this day. So yeah, this game is gonna be spicy. I think that I don't like Morgana nor Caitlyn. I don't think those champions are as good as the other champions we've seen. I think that if you fall behind with those champions, you do not scale that well as the other champions. Let's say that they had a chance to pick like Varus Braum or even Ezreal Braum, which I think those are really strong lanes because even if you're behind, you can always come back into the game and do well. Caitlyn scales very well, but the problem with her is how do you come back into games? She doesn't have CC. She only has like sieging potential, and then you're like by sieging, you're getting exposed into team fights and things like this. Like you're in risk of being engaged and things like this. So you don't really want to do that. We're seeing the Sinsal ban and the Gragas ban, and Jankos picks Olaf. I think Jankos on Olaf is that's a really good comfort champion for him. And I hope in group stage he doesn't get Olaf every time, especially here. Like his Olaf was a fourth pick Olaf basically. That should not happen against him, but they had to ban two champions against Berg. So oh, sorry about that. Yasuo Trundle is a really good duo, but I don't think that's what you want with the Caitlyn. Yeah, I much prefer the Cassio here. And they already banned two champions that are good against Cassio or are doable. Not necessarily good in general, but that can be played to Cassio. So Perks is playing Ori. Ori is really good into Cassio. Imagine having an ADC without boots, without dashes against a champion that can just ult you and kill you from 100 to 0. So they have Alistar Oriana. It's a really simple but yet so really good composition. While Supermassive has a really good composition too, but the problem is that their dual lane, their bot lane is much more harder to pull off. I think that as soon as you get behind, then you're in trouble, and that's really risky. But if they can just perma push and just rotate turret after turret, they can just win the game like that. And like I see a world where they never like G2 never has a chance to engage in the Caitlyn, and Caitlyn just gets every turret. But then again, it's on Supermassive to play to that. So JVM starting queue pretty normal for Cassia nowadays. I think that's a really good start, especially since they changed it a bit. So corrupting pot, really good on Casio, really good on everything pretty much, and double Dora Blade on the bot lane. I think that you should look to like this was an opportunity for Hernan to do the boots with 4 pots or the longsword with 3 pots against this lane because you don't really care about sustain about the lifesteal of the Doran Blade or the sustain from the Doran Shield. You care more about having pots actually against those kind of champions, Morgana Caitlyn. Um, we see Hernan getting the push there, and that's what I was telling. Like sometimes what happens in these kind of lanes, just the threat of Alistar with Jin is so strong. Even if you have Black Shield, you have to respect that, and you even losing the push even. So it's really difficult for the Caitlyn. Like Jin is such a great pick against Caitlyn, and yeah, I right now it's not looking good for them in the bottom lane. So I didn't pay much attention for to the jungle, but I did see that none of the junglers did their red into golems, and I think the reason why that happens is because in this matchup, if you get invaded at that, or if you get like invaded in the other side while you're doing golems, you get so punished by that in this kind of matchup because the Trundle Olaf matchup is really close. I think that that's like a skill matchup, and Eventually, with levels, I think Trundle gets better because Trundle has the ulti for those 1v1s. But as far as early game goes and pathing goes, I think it's really even. And it depends a lot on what you're doing with it. And not doing the red golems here, I can see that from both sides. You don't really want to be the one that gets greedy doing that and lose the skill matchup just because of what you did. G2 ganking bottom or hovering bottom at least, so they're scared them away a bit. You can now start freezing, and you have Aster and Jin, so that's really good for you too. G2's duo. They're starting the Drake. This is something that both of these junglers can do. Olaf and Trundle are really good at doing Drakes, even at level 4. They could just solo the Drake out, and that's a really good thing to have because the Ocean Drake for the laning phase is really good. That gets traded for the top crab, so top Scuttle for Drake. I think you much rather have the Drake. Now he's getting the Raptor, so the trade it's getting kinda even, but you still prefer the Drake over CS and things like this. Olaf is already ahead in CS, so he doesn't really care if he loses more CS. To the Olaf, that's gonna be stabilized, but you have the Drake, so the ward got spotted there. Those wards, like I said in previous videos, you want those wards to be placed when you're not being spotted, when you know that you're not being spotted, or that they didn't see your inventory. Because if you come out outside the enemy jungle without a ping and they saw you have a ping, they'll immediately kill that ward eventually, or they will play around that. So you want to have those wards when you're not being spotted, because those wards do suck when they see you. Like that ward got cleared immediately, and yeah, the chance of someone being there was pretty high. So if I was no flower, even if I wasn't seeing anyone, I wouldn't place the ward right away unless I was seeing people in the bot lane showing. Because in the bot lane, Alistair wasn't showing, so that's just a good reason to know ward there. We see Tiamat and Trundle rush. That's pretty standard. We're gonna see that more, and this Lee Sin, we are gonna see that too sometimes. So the Tiamat rush is really good. In Camilla, and Camilla is kind of like 50-50. You don't always see that, but um, basically what happens is that that helps you out clear camps faster, but that is also combat stats. So better to definitely better than having Smite. This is another craft for Trundle, so Trundle should be ahead in gold, or maybe kind of even since Jankos is actually ahead in CS. But since Trundle has gotten 2 crafts already that Jankos didn't, Trundle would have a lot of gold here. I haven't keep up with the golems, but basically you want to keep doing as much as you can the golems so that you can stabilize experience or be ahead in experience, like by a tiny bit. The more you do it, then especially in this matchup it's really important because this is like a spicy matchup where it's really close and you want to get these kind of small advantages. Same with the top lane. Top lane is basically a skill matchup, and Wonder is winning for CS ahead, and he has a call, so I've seen him do this twice now. I think that he was the one that had a call earlier. I don't remember if it was Urgot or not, but that's something that he really likes to do. And I think that as long as you can hold the lane or be even, that's a really good purchase because you are just scaling further into the mid to late game much quicker. And I think that's something that you should look to do if you're like confident enough or being even in this lane basically. Really nice dive. They got both summoners out of Cassio, and this is what I was talking about. Ori basically is good against Cassio, not only because of the lane is okay, but because that's just a 2v2 kill. Really big mistake going for that ward. They like the problem with that ward is like you're letting them like you don't see them when you're hitting that ward. You need to have vision in order for you to like play better against the binding. So there it's just a binding. Jin lost both summoners. If he goes back bottom, that's troublesome because now you're matching a lane where you don't have summoners and they have summoners. So you're getting in a situation where they can just flash in on you. Um, oh, it wasn't a ping? Oh, yeah, it was a ping. So they don't have vision of Morgana, so Morgana can freely hit this binding, and she has vision of Jin. So if the pink ward was better placed, I think it sees the ward that was next to it. So maybe then it's better. But still, if you're hitting the ward, then you're being spotted by Morgana anyways. So uh, what I was talking about the Ori Casio matchup, imagine playing AD and the enemy mid laner has boots and you don't have boots and you're an AD carry without boots and um, or you can or you will always have the threat of QR on you, and you kind of are scared about that. And basically, Cass is pretty much another AD carry, so at that point it's really hard to play around because you don't have dashes and you also do not have boots or access to that, so you don't really have safety against Uriel. I think G2 got a kill there, but then since the TP came in and Wonder wasn't there at the start, I can like Wonder was walking, but he wasn't there at the start. So G2 had this is what I always tell. This is the you have to make enough time for Wonder to come to the fight so that this fight is good for you. But since they just got one shot, they cannot make time for him. So, in fact, actually, I think was Snowflower the one who died. Snowflower dying there made enough time for the rest of his team to come. So, pretty close game right now. Really creative binding. He threw the binding from Fog of War, so that's Perk's flash right there. Like none of the carries for G2 has have flash here. Nonflower very deep there. He makes some time with the Sonias, that's why the TP came in. And now G2 cannot get out like without dying basically. So really good Sonias, makes it enough time for his team to come even though he died. Wonder is just so far ahead now. From the TP a bit and from the he had some advantage in the lane like 4 CS or something. So now this is just getting out of control, and that's really important for the side lane and for what that means. Olaf on Morgana here, you see perks too. So really nice skill converging into the bot lane. Covering for his bot lane is really good here because you're covering for them while they do not have like first we saw the kill on Snowflower, now we're seeing this. And now Hirnan is gonna have flash soon. So they did make up for the lack of summers on Hirnan, and when I said earlier that you don't want to match bottom, it's because you're matching a Morgana with flash when you don't have flash. Things like this. She can just jump on you and look for a 2v2 kill, things like this. But that never happened. So really good from you2 that they cover for their duel. Like they were hovering bottom, they were warding for them, being there. Like here we see Janko's bottom, things like this to protect them basically while they do not have summoners. Uh, so that 2v2 didn't really matter that much. It was only the gold from the kills. So the summoners that Jin lost didn't really matter in the end. Um, Now we're seeing the swap coming in from Supermassive. G2 is gonna do the same things. Sooner or later, Hernan decided to just walk. He already purchased, so there's no point in recalling. He's just gonna walk from bottom to mid, from mid to top. So G2 has 5 people around mid and top, and now Supermassive is matching that. Fabulous move after pushing the first wave. He left the wave in the middle now, so now we're seeing everyone top. The turret was already low from Wonder's lane phase. Now Wonder is bottom, so G2 is just gonna they cannot hit the turret yet. They have to like get vision, wait for Wonder to move. The reason why they started Herald is because they see Fabulous catching the wave bottom and they see Wonder moving, so they have numbers advantage because even if Fabulous had TP, you see Wonder moving, and Wonder is already there, while Fabulous will have to wait the 4 seconds of the TP. And it's really bad that Supermassive contested that, knowing that Wonder was rotating and moving, because you should know that if he's in bottom, where can Wonder be, right? And if they are also at a TP disadvantage like they were, um, you should never contest 45 against the TP disadvantage. That should never be happening. Now they're gonna get the Inferno too because they got the kills and the Herald. So from getting the kills, you can get another objective. And they got the Inferno here. So really well played by G2. I think I was expecting them to do better this day because what happens with I think that as long as G2 knows what Supermassive can do or they kind of want to do, like they're good. So I didn't expect them to lose twice to this team. They ganked Wonder here. He just lost Flash, which I think is a really good thing for them because now this sided matchup is really volatile and it's definitely troublesome not having summoners, but Wonder is already ahead on a lot of CS and he has 2 kills too, so he already has 2 items, so that definitely changes the matchup, but not having Flash also changes somewhat a bit. So Wonder still wins, but not for so much now that he doesn't have Flash. He has to respect more the fact that he doesn't have Flash, basically. He has heal. That's a big advantage of having Spellbook. It's like you don't have Flash, but you at least have a heal, which is really relevant on those kind of ganks. So you saw how close he was turning around that 1v2. We see a play mid here. You two have had 4 people grouped. Cassie wasn't there yet. GBM was still rotating between the lanes, so that was a really good move. Or an okay move. Now we see 5-man mid, way the Herald. They're getting a turret. They didn't get the local gold, but getting the local gold there, it's kind of risky. Now we see a team fit mid. Like G2 wanted to get out after doing the Herald, and this is like miscommunication because if G2 knew that they were going to get collapse or like they knew earlier, they will be like, oh, here you need to be closer so that we can get the turret and get out safely because they can calm things like this. But they didn't call that, and basically what happened, Kiarna wasn't there, and then they were running out as they were walking away from the turret, they just get collapsed on. So we see here, Kiarna is catching the wave because he thinks G2 safe. Oh, we just get out. We already got the turret, that's fine. They gave the turret, basically. But what Supermassive did, they gave the turret, and then they start walking towards G2, and they knew they have the 5v4. And 5v4s matter the more when the person missing on the other team is a carry more than a tank or something else. So if the person missing on the other team is a carry, it's really huge. It's like almost like a 6v4 kind of thing. Um, we see Spellbinder on perks. I think that's okay since he's against Casio. Casio has to use E multiple times on waves and things like this. As soon as he starts matching the Casio, that's really good. If he's Smith against a duo, then there's 2 people using spells, so you can stack that really fast, especially if you're the one mid, because there's 2 people in the wave. So he's, as you can see, he's almost at 100 stacks. So 100 stacks in that item is really good. It's a really good power spike for team fights. So yeah, I think Kaylee has a couple of items, so she hasn't fallen behind that much. But Morgana definitely is going to get worse compared to the Alistar in team fights. The reason why melee supports are really good right now is because I think laning phase you don't get as punished as before with the rune changes and things like this. Nerfs to Scorch, nerfs to other runes, and if you think about what these melee supports provide, there's so many things compared to the other sports. Like you have Braum, you have Tamkench, you have Alistar. Like those champions don't care if they're behind; they'll eventually become a thing or a threat in the game in team fights. So trading Baron for Drake, G2 really good. Like this is the reason why I always say you don't send more than 2 people to Drake at this point of the game. It doesn't matter if it's an Inferno. You're always going to lose the Baron. So don't send that many people to Dragon. Send 1 or 2 to solo to Drake. And if one comes, then if G2 sends more people to Drake, then you match that. You start moving to Drake. But you never send everyone to Drake before seeing G2 members. You send the 1 people and then or 1 person rather, and then the other 4 that are mid or top, you start sending more as you see G2 moving to the Drake. So that's how you have to play, because if not, you're just losing the Drake and the Baron, and you're not even granted the trade because you kind of want to stop if you really want to contest the Baron sometimes. So G2 playing two lanes. They're not protecting perks here, and this is what I don't like. They're leaving him alone in the side lane, and well, yes, he didn't lose anything there. It's always dangerous. I think that okay, now they're transitioning into playing three lanes, so that's really good because if you're playing three lanes, you get more turrets. But then there's the fact that you can just get engage, and since they got out, now Pricks can get a turret. So it wasn't as bad. Maybe they are thinking, oh, their composition doesn't have that much engage, and it's true. I think that they only have Pillar, and Pillar isn't that good. They have more binding, but if you're using that to engage when the enemy sees you coming, like because you have to come from the front, you're not in a position where you can flank when you're getting 1-3-1. So specifically, I think G2 is a team that wants you once most of the time with Baron, and I think that's fine, especially against Caitlyn Cassio. You really want to spread out in three lanes because if you're just playing two lanes, Caitlyn can just set up traps in one lane, and Cassio can just throw Miasma, and they can rotate between two lanes and just defend the two waves at the same time. Like, it's really easy for them because they have so much wave clear, so you really have to spread out in the extra lane so that they cannot clear all the three waves at the same time. So that's more pressure, definitely. We're seeing a Visage, Spirit Visage on Casio. I don't like that. I don't think that's what you want. Like, especially against just the 1 AP champion. So what did get caught here? That's something that you don't want to see. GBM overextended there a bit. Perks wasn't in danger. Perks hasn't used Summoner yet. He hasn't used any Sums yet. So, yeah. We did die, so they have to wait for him to spawn. They really don't want this 4v5 or 3v4 or 3v5 rather because Perks is stopped catching the wave. Yeah, the fact that they got caught there even when Perks was stopped, that's so disrespectful. I feel like um, they at least are keeping them here. Perks can't get getting hit without dying eventually, so he's just gonna back away. Now G2 is gonna set up for Infernal, and they're probably going to get Infernal. I would be surprised if they do not get this Infernal. Supermassive can contest, but since they were forced to recall, now they have to contest, but they're the ones checking the Drake. They're not the ones inside the Drake first, so yeah. We see Fabulous here grouping. There are 5 men now. Wonder is coming, so it's the classic 5v5 men of hooking at the mid priority and then eventually enter the pit. We see here an ulting so that they can get the mid priority. And since they got mid priority G2, they can now have the access to the bot river. We see a fight. Uh, yeah, this is kind of close. And that was because they fought before they were entering the river. G2 kind of split a bit there. As you can see here, here we will see like a split between these two people and these three. I was pointing with my finger, but yeah, we see 2 people here and 3 people here, so they kind of split there, and Fabio took advantage of that. So definitely not a thing that you want to do. Splitting in fights is really bad in general. So yeah, the Infernal's still there. There's a TP. This could be huge for the outcome of this game. Oh, Pers was there, so it doesn't really matter. Never mind. That could have been really good potentially, but Pers was there, so unfortunate for Supermassive. Okay, I thought G2 was going to win today, all the games, but this was a close game, actually. Yeah, G2 has been snowballing. They have been ahead the whole game. But look at how many things Supermassive got from being behind. They got 3 turrets, 1 Drake, 9 kills. So, yes, well, they're really far behind. They got things done. So, for how behind they were. So, that's a really good showing from them. But definitely, you don't want to just lose like this because this actually is a normal game from the two. They're not getting much. Other than those 3 turrets, Drake, and the 9 kills, like they're not getting a chance. Even though they're getting kills, they're not getting objectives after, and that's because of what G2 is doing during these fights or how they're setting up for the fight. So really tough situation to be in because sometimes you're getting those kills, but the way the fight went or the way the fight was set up, you can't just take the objective after. Unfortunately for Supermassive, so now G2 seems like they're just gonna wait for the third wave, and they're gonna play two lanes for now, and then they're gonna transition in the third wave that is stop that is stacking here. They got caught a little there, but it doesn't really matter. They're just so far ahead. I could just win this fight anyways. So yeah. So now they'll just get 3 equips and probably win. Wonder will TP. Okay, they just went for the M instead. So yeah, that was game 1 from the 4. And yeah, really good showing from you two. And hope Supermassive can bounce back because there's probably going to be a tiebreaker between these two teams. So expect more for that.